My name is David Madison. The 16th of November 2019. I was a Methodist minister for 9 years, but by the time I finished my PhD in biblical studies, my belief in God had evaporated. I am an ex-clergy atheist. That wasn't supposed to happen. Seminaries exist to manufacture clergy, but if you look at the Bible too carefully, too critically, too closely, the errors and flaws become all too obvious. Hence this series of flash podcasts, Bible Blunders and Bad Theology. This is episode 11. What I call the Lazarus stunt is found in the 11th chapter of John's Gospel. Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. As Christians read their Bibles, they don't probe. Where did this story come from? What were the author's sources? Above all, what were his motivations? The stupendous Lazarus story is not found in Matthew, Mark, or Luke because they'd never heard of it. Why would they leave it out? John was the last gospel to be written, and the author invented this story, as he invented so much of the material in his gospel. The source was his imagination. We read that Mary and Martha, the sisters of Lazarus, had sent a message to their friend Jesus that Lazarus was sick. How did Jesus respond? This sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it. This is a strong clue that the story is contrived, invented by the theologian who wrote the gospel. A little while later, he tells his disciples, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him up." Basically, the disciples shrug it off. But then Jesus tells them bluntly, "Lazarus is dead. And for your sake, I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe." What more do we need to know that this is contrived? I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe. On purpose, he lets his friend die. Hence the story unfolds as a stunt. When Martha got word that Jesus was about to arrive, she went to meet him. The author's theological gimmick smacks us right in the face. "Lord," Martha said to Jesus, "if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." And Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again. I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though he die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die." That's the gimmick, eternal life, which this gospel pushes relentlessly. Then Martha said, "I believe you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is come into the world." This is John's message, aimed at his target market, the Jesus cult. When Mary joins them and they arrive at the tomb, where Lazarus has been for 4 days, Jesus orders the stone to be removed. Mary warns that there will be a stench. In other words, this guy is really dead. It's a voice-activated resurrection. Jesus says, "Lazarus, come out." And he did. So the Bible reports a magic spell, a tidbit of magical thinking. Presto, I say the word, and it happens. This is standard miracle folklore found in other religions. But the ancient Jesus cult believed it. John wrote it because he knew they would. How in the world does Lazarus coming back to life mean that believing in Jesus guarantees that people don't have to die? On no level whatever does it make sense. We can be sure that Lazarus died again. So many religions have tried to sell the product that they don't have, eternal life. This is bad Christian theology. The superstitious Lazarus story is a Bible blunder.